This meeting of the Board of Education is now called to order. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone to our July meeting, and we'll get started by approving our agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda as printed?
I don't have any changes, but there is one additional item under superintendent's report that will follow those two items.
Okay, very good. Is there a motion, please, on page 2?
Go ahead.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the agenda as printed.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes, and we'll get started with the superintendent's report. Mark?
Well, our first report, okay, is our bond project update, but it doesn't look like Johnny's here yet. So it's going to be hard to give that one. So we're going to move. There he is. Oh, there he is. Right on time.
Hey. Sorry, team, multitasking. Yeah.
So Johnny Edwards is here on time to present the bond.
First and foremost, good evening. Thank you, Superintendent Lee Lang, as well as members of the Board of Education. Quick update related to our construction projects. And there we go. All right, so first I'd like to thank the Board of Education for joining us and being part of that guided tour last month for Central Elementary School. It was great to show all of you the progress we've made thus far. Even within the last month, a lot has been accomplished. So we will work to schedule a tour for Haverhill by the fall. In terms of construction updates at Central L, framing and rough ends continue throughout the building. The roof, as you observe, is almost nearly complete. The polished concrete was not in place at your visit, and that polished concrete has begun. At the same time, we're working on the sprinkler piping throughout the building. Obviously, that's important in the event of a fire, so we're working on that. Over at Haverhill, their roofing portion of their project has just started. They've also begun framing some of the exterior of the building, particularly near the top portion. The pouring of the concrete has now reached the gymnasium, and now they're pouring concrete throughout the second floor. Third and finally, for Woodland, this Thursday will be our design development page turn. So this is a signature mark in our design process. The page turn is where the architects go through the various elements of the entire building. Our committee will have an opportunity to share feedback and ask clarifying questions. After the page turn, our construction management firm, OAK, they'll take the next month to review all of the information and put together preliminary costs to make sure we remain within budget. So that concludes my update related to Central, Haverhill, and Woodland. I'll be happy to answer any questions of the board.
And a good report it was. Thank you.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Oh, thanks, Johnny. So the second report is on our Building and Site Sinking Fund, give you an update on some of the efforts that are taking place to bring that to people's attention. You know, that's a very important question on the ballot this August, and also, unfortunately, it's on the back side of the ballot. So you have to basically turn that ballot over to see it. Hopefully, people will pay attention to that and not just stop at the beginning of the end of the first page. So, so Michelle's here to talk about that a little bit more.
So the bond projects obviously allow us to build new buildings, and Building and Site Sinking Fund allows us to repair the buildings, so we are able to not maintain, but repair and do projects on those buildings, along with some technology and busing. So the community has, renewed this for like the past 60 years. But we started an educational campaign about the Building and Site Sinking Fund because it is kind of a funny name and people don't really know what it means. So we wanted to make sure that our community were well aware of of the fund, and that it is up for renewal this year, and what are the types of things that it's used for. So we really started kind of a slow roll right after this school year finished, so that over the whole summer we've been kind of building up to the August election. You'll notice we have, information on our website. We have news articles on all the building websites about the Building and Site Sinking Fund. We had recently a very nice article on MLive that Aya Miller worked with Kayla Miller on. So that turned out quite well. And really just a lot of social media, pushing it out there, repeating it so that, you repeat things enough people eventually see them. And it all kind of hinged around a video that we put together. And so we want to show you the video, and then I'll talk a little bit about how we've used this video.
Hi, I'm Johnny Edwards, Assistant Superintendent of Operations for the Portage Public Schools. I want to inform our community about our upcoming Building Site and Sinking Fund renewal. Specifically, this is an opportunity for us to continue to make repairs and upgrades to our facilities throughout the district.
This measure, this fund, is a great use for making sure and ensuring that all of our buildings within our school district are operating at their highest capacity in order to provide a safe learning environment for staff, students, and our communities when they come in.
Some of the projects that we've done over the past couple of years include a project here at Portage Northern High School. We were able to upgrade the exterior of the entire building to match the natatorium in North Middle School. We were able to put in a new parking lot. That new parking lot, located near our softball field and our multi-purpose field, allowed us to provide parking for many of our guests and patrons who come to visit our athletic contests.
The first thing that we have going is our roof. Due to this fund, from our Building Site Sinking Fund and the money that rests there from our wonderful community, we are now able to repair our entire roof at 12th Street. So if you happen to drive by 12th Street Elementary over the summer, you will see that we will have a wonderful, wonderful work being done to make sure our roof is not just patched up and fixed, but it is fully redone.
Hi, I'm Alex McCullough, principal at Lake Center Elementary. When students return in the fall, they'll see a new electronic sign for Lake Center. This is made possible due to the building site funds. We are so thankful that our community supports this.
The advantage of our Building Site and Sinking Fund is it allows us to save dollars from our general fund and also help us to preserve dollars from our bond.
This Building Site Sinking Fund is of great value to this district, so please, please, please take a moment, take the opportunity to make sure that you go out and vote. As we always say here at 12th Street, peace and love.
So that was kind of the superstructure of our whole informational campaign, is to let people know what kinds of projects this money is used for, and then why it's so important that it's not taking money from the general fund that can be used for classrooms and teachers and all of those things. So not only have we posted this video on the website and all the websites of the individual buildings, we've cut this into pieces as well. So little nuggets, again, friendly for social media, for Instagram and stuff. People have a very long attention span in those spaces, and have just been running those throughout the summer so that it's a constant repeat. We started with once a week kind of back in June. We've upped it to twice a week, and now these last couple of weeks we'll be posting stuff 3 times a week. So people will have the opportunity to see it, understand the information, maybe look a little further into it. We also did early in the summer a piece in the District Extra so that we could reach, because that's always our challenge, is reaching the greater community that maybe don't necessarily follow our social media and that kind of thing. And then, hopefully, if we have the right outcome, we certainly will have, and either way we'll have a thank you ready for our community to be able to acknowledge, hopefully their continued support over the 60-year tradition of renewing the Building and Site Sinking Fund. So, any questions?
I just want to add, just as a reminder, that this was a millage that originally was targeted to be on the May ballot, but we would have been the only jurisdiction having an election, and the cost would have been upwards of $100,000 to conduct that election, that we would have had to bear the entire cost. So holding off until August eliminated that cost, because they have to run, the county has to run this election, so there really is no cost to us for this election. So that's, that's the cost savings angle on it.
I appreciated how you showed examples of it being used.
Right, I think, again, it is a little bit hard to understand sometimes, especially if you're not paying attention all the time. And so we really just wanted to demonstrate, the types of things that we've done in the past and, similar things in the future.
So you made a really important point. It was kind of hidden in there, but so if we didn't have this, we'd have to go into the general fund to do these kinds of things. And because we don't have to raid into the general fund, we have more money for to pay our teachers, to pay our staff, to have downward pressure on class sizes. So there's a lot of good in here.
Yeah, it's really, really important. And to be able to, do the repairs that allow us to have the, this building, for example, is, we still think of it as the new Central High, but it's a few years old. And so, just like at home, things need to be replaced and repaired. And so this is kind of this is the fun to be able to do that.
How long is it renewed for?
5 years. 10, and so this is a 5-year renewal.
5-year renewal?
And that's what we did the last time as well. So this is my second round. Great.
Good work, Michelle, thank you.
Michelle.
You want me to-
Yeah, you can stay there. So, just because school ended in early June doesn't mean that education ended and activities ended. We've been very busy this summer with a number of things, and that both Michelle and Janine have been like the point people on organizing, making things happen. So it'll be a good time to have them review what we've been doing, maybe the impact on the number of students, and how we've been using some of our facilities this summer. So I don't know who's going to start.
Michelle needs a break.
You need a break from hearing me, yeah.
So as Mark said, we've had a lot going on, even though school has been officially out since June. We've had 4 weeks of elementary summer learning. We've just finished up 2 weeks of middle school learning. And this week will be the last week of high school learning. So I just wanted to give you some information on what's happening out there at Lake Center this summer. Orville also, our comfort dog, attended along with 178 other students. It was a 4-week program focused mostly on, not mostly all, on language-rich environments. And we have a lot of experiences that we tapped into from local businesses and entertainments. So students essentially attend to learn and to remember to learn to love school. So student engagement is the #1 target area for all of our students. It was a success. We finished it up last Thursday. We had great people running the program. And all the students left, I hear, with a smile on their face, and we'll be seeing them very shortly. So it kind of bridges the gap from the end of the year to the beginning of the year, and we like to make sure that we have students who are loving to come back. So the middle school, I saw a couple of you there last week. We had project-based learning, which was a 2-week experience for about 35 to 40 students. This year, the activities, the students presented on learning how to prepare foods, learning what's in GMOs and what kind of, lots of other things that go into our food. I learned a lot about that. They also worked on creating podcasts, and so all the students had examples of podcasts, so we were able to hear just little snippets, and I was very impressed. I have no idea how to do a podcast, so, and I learned a lot from the animal podcasts, so I think those are available to you soon. The high school is a little different. We still are working on student engagement. We are engaging the students so we can have some credit recovery so that students may graduate in 4 years. We had over 200 students, that's including community high, and that was on the northern side of town this year. We also had a couple of Sherman Lake camp experiences for students who may be experiencing difficulty in their lives. And we also had a huge English learner program, about 100 students. A couple weeks ago, if you were able, the ELL team, led by Teresa Fortin, taught many of the administration staff how to play cricket. So cricket takes a long time. It is a joyous occasion where you can eat food and watch cricket for many days in a row, because it does not end on one day. So that was kind of interesting. That's what I took away from that. Just wanted to say a special thank you to the Transportation Department. They have done an amazing job. I have no idea how Jody does it, but she's always made all the transportation happen for our students. And Susan, I don't think she's here either, but the food service plus the meetup and eat up were on our northern campuses, and we certainly appreciate all the work that those two departments have added to our programming. So I just wanted a special shout out to those folks.
So on the community relations side, we really administer and coordinate the more like summer camp programs. This would include sports camps that our coaches run throughout the summer, as well as the Portage Education Foundation STEP camps, which stands for Summer Technology Enrichment Program camps. So the STEP camps are actually offered by the Portage Education Foundation really at no charge to Portage students. There's a $10 registration fee that helps cover some of our overhead from our office. So this summer we had 5 different camps offered, numerous sessions, and we served about 306 children from the EF side of things. On the sports camps, there were about 20 different camps, again, with multiple sessions. So 20 different sports, if you will, with multiple sessions. Some split between the two high schools. They had, softball in one, softball at the other. And then some of them were combined. Water polo, for instance, much like our regular varsity programs. And that served, we still have a couple of those going on, but that served over 1,000 students over the course of the summer. So a lot happening both inside and outside over the summer months from the camp side of things. So. Questions?
Just really fun visiting the project-based learning last week and talking to kids and seeing them talk back to us. And I thought it was really great exercise for them to do that. And they seemed to be enjoying themselves. And it was just really quite fun. So.
I didn't know that they were going to have food. I had lunch just before, so I could only have little slices that they were offering.
That was my lunch. I didn't know that was my lunch.
I need to pay more attention when there's food involved.
It was good to see the English learners at the middle school, and it was interesting the countries all these kids came from, and how they're trying to build some relationships and learn the language before school starts. That's got to be real important for those kids. So it was a great program, great to see. I didn't play cricket, but I saw it.
I have a quick question. For summer learning, are teachers recommending students to go? Is that how it works? Or do they opt in? Or?
I figured somebody would ask that question, and we do have a formula utilizing our data at the district level, but then all the buildings make their own decisions based upon who they believe should go.
And do they have to go? They just opt in?
Yep, all voluntary. And this year was, I think, the highest year we've had with students since COVID, which is really nice. And everybody who the buildings wanted to go were invited. We were able to accommodate all the students. So it was pretty cool.
And you figured out how to overcome transportation issues. I mean, always tough.
I don't do that. Jody does that.
He just makes it happen.
She's amazing.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks for that update.
Thank you very much.
That's it.
Okay.
I mean, there'll be some updates embedded in some of the other actions that you take, especially around the personnel side. So when Brad comes up for his 4 items, we'll cover some of that.
Okay. We're at our comments and communications section. Seeing there's no one who wants to address the board this evening, we'll move right to comments by board trustees. Does anyone have anything to share?
It's Summer, we're all quiet.
Well, I just, on behalf of the board, I'd just like to thank the community for supporting the Building and Site Sinking Fund for the past 60 years, and has really enabled us to maintain our buildings at a high level, and as well as add improvements as needed, like safety vestibules and other things. So I just want to thank the community and would urge the community to get out again, either with absentee ballots or on August 6th to approve this again. It's a great thing for the district and a great thing for our kids. So thank you to our community for all your support.
Mr. Chairman, I thought of one additional item that I had forgotten.
Yes,
And
sir.
that is congratulations to Andrew Evans, Portage Northern class of 2010, the comeback kid discus thrower who is on his way to Paris to represent the USA in the Olympics.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty cool.
Thanks for that. Okay, we'll move to the consent agenda. On page 5, we just have board meeting minutes. First, the June 24th, 2024 special meeting, closed session, and regular business meeting, and the July 15, 2024 special meeting and closed session minutes. Are there any exceptions to the consent agenda as presented? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. And we'll move to our action items. We have a number of them tonight, starting on page 29, new administrator appointments. Brad?
Good evening, Superintendent Lang. Good evening, trustees. Good to be with you. And some good stuff this evening. So it's always nice to be here with good things. So first, we have recommendations for 3 new administrators. Really 2 new to the district and a new position for another one. So. And they are in order in here as in the order that I got their acceptance letters into my HR office. So that's why we are. So we're not alphabetical. We're just all over the place in that way. First, introduce you to Tracy Speaker Gertheimer. So she's going to be coming to us as the new Director of Systems and 912 Curriculum for the Portage Public Schools. So excited to have Tracy coming down. She's currently the secondary curriculum specialist for the Midland Public Schools. She also has served as a couple of other positions at Midland. Prior to Midland, she actually was down in El Paso, Texas, so where she was the principal of Northwest Early College High School in El Paso, and then an assistant principal at both Coronado and Franklin High Schools in El Paso, Texas. Very strong background in terms of her English. She's certified in both English and Spanish. But also prior to going to Texas, taught at the Henry Ford Academy in Dearborn, Michigan. So she is a Michigan State grad with both her bachelor's and master's degrees, and also got a second master's with her ed leadership from the University of Texas at El Paso. And then she is on the final stages of completing her doctorate at Central Michigan University. So I believe she is expecting to finish that fully in December of this year. So. Very excited to have Tracy joining us, and I know Dr. Sheehan's really excited to have another partner in crime. She can move through and get lots of things done. So Tracy's actually relocating to the area from Midland, so she's not here tonight, but we will introduce her at a future board meeting when she's here. Our second candidate that we're bringing through, also new to the district, is Mr. Tracy Louder. And Mr. Louder is being recommended as the new principal at Portage Northern High School. First, I just want to talk about the pool in general for Portage Northern. It was a fabulous candidate pool. I haven't seen this strong administrative candidate pool in several cycles. It's been really, really good to see. My compliments to Dr. Pasco and Dr. Metzen-Gerhardt. While I was on vacation and completely disconnected from the world, they did screenings and we talked, I believe, to 9 individuals, and got that down to 4 very high-quality finalists, brought them before a panel at Portage Northern, which included teachers, students, members of the PMP Compass Group, other administrators as well. Went through that process, and we're fortunate to have Mr. Louder joining us. Mr. Louder is currently the superintendent of the Vandercook Lake School District over in Jackson County. I will point out, coming to Portage Northern, he will increase the student count that he's responsible for versus from a whole district to Portage Northern. So that's okay, we like that. Prior to being at Vandercook Lake for the past couple of years, Mr. Lauder was 8 years as the principal at Ann Arbor Pioneer High School. It's a very comparable school to both Portage Northern and Portage Central. So one of the things, in fact, he talked about in his interview with the panel is that Pioneer High School got 3 Grammy Awards while he was principal there through their music program and all of that. And it was noted, one of the teacher candidates pointed out to me, the candidates in their resumes, his highlighted just as many non-curricular things as curricular things, talking about support of athletics and the arts and all of those kind of things. So definitely very excited to have Mr. Lauder joining us as the new principal at Portage Northern. And then finally, the third name on your list is a familiar one, so Effie McCarron, currently principal at Woodland Elementary. As some of you probably know, Mrs. McCarron, her background is in special education, and she has a passion for it. And so as one of our special education supervisors is retiring and actually going to move to the Keys in Florida, so we're all going to be her best friend in January, Mrs. McCarron is going to jump over and become a new special education supervisor working with Janine and her team. So we're excited to have Effie in that new role. And then we'll be moving forward with fill a principal role at Woodland, and also as in our next one, we'll also be filling the principal role at Angling Road. So those jobs are both posted right now. We have applicants coming in, and we'll be working with Dr. Jinsenius and moving forward with those. So I'm bringing 3 tonight, and hopefully I will have 2 new administrators the next time we meet in August as well.
What was Mr. Lauder's interest in becoming a principal again?
So he was, during his interview, he was really funny because we talked about that. He's like, people kept telling me, you need to take the next step. You need to go be a superintendent. That's the next step. He's like, so I thought to be happy, I really needed to take the next step. He said, okay, so he looked at our 2 students on the panel, they were sitting right by me. He's like, kids, here's my lesson. When you're happy, be happy. Don't always feel like you need to chase happiness. And he really loves being a high school principal. He discovered after being in the superintendency that was not his thing. He wanted to come back and be principal of a large, diverse high school. And so that was the attraction there. So,
thank you.
Good example.
and he did say, and he did confess in the interview that once he reaches probably the last couple of years of his teaching, he wants to go back into the classroom as well. So he's like, I think that would be the way I'd want to end my career, teaching English again in a classroom. He's like, but I don't know when that's going to be. So he was very, very good in the interview at addressing that. So.
Fantastic.
Is he coming here from Jackson?
I don't know what his plans are in terms of relocate. He has lived in Jackson a long time. He did commute to Ann Arbor. Jackson's about the halfway point between here and Ann Arbor, so I don't know. He is, I know just from a casual conversation we were having, just talking about a couple of things that he needed to get something just right so that his wife would be happy. So that told me he's a smart man, keeping his wife happy. Some of us have taken 27 years to figure that out. So I don't know. I'll be spending more time with him tomorrow. He will be in district here tomorrow, and again, we'll make sure he makes it to a future board meeting to meet all of you in person. So.
Very good.
Great. Any other questions for Brad? There's a motion on page 29, please, and we also have the phonetic spelling here chart for everybody.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would like to take a stab at this and make the motion of the Board of Education approve the following administrator appointments to Portage Public Schools. Tracy Speaker Gestima as Director of Systems and 9 through 12 Curriculum, Tracy Lauder, Principal at Portage Northern High School, and Effie McCarron, ESI Supervisor.
Nice job, Keith. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of approving the new administrator appointments, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes, and welcome and much success to these folks. Thank you, Brad. Our next action item is new teacher appointments. Brad.
Yes, so here we are. So it is that time of year. New teachers come. Kudos to our administrators and my HR team. We've really done a lot of our positions filled already. As I stand here tonight, we do still have 10 teacher openings posted right now. So some of those are in various stages of interviews and various parts there. So we will, of course, be seeing more teachers as we move forward. But my hope is this is the vast majority of the teachers we're hiring for this year. A couple of highlights I just wanted to mention. One of our teachers, the top of the second page, Jennifer Jawa here, has been a parapro for us. She was a member of our Grow Our Own program. So she's somebody who has gone through, gotten her certification, and is now being hired as a teacher for our English language learner students. So we're very excited about that one as well. On the final, on your third page there, just point out, we have Ms. Tammy Stewart, who's returning, coming back to Portage. So we had her for a couple of years. She jumped over to GPS and is now coming back to us. Janelle Terazinski, that last name may ring a bell. Her mother just retired from the district. Janelle is actually taking her mother's spot as a speech-language pathologist for the district. So certainly keeping it in the family that way. The name below that, Hannah Thomas Perez, is a Portage Central grad. Actually went to elementary school all the way through, went to Woodland, and then all the way through from there. And then the last name on your list, of course, is also familiar, Heather Yankovic. We're really excited for Heather. As she continues her career, she's going to be the new transition coordinator for the district. So working with our students who are getting jobs out in the community after graduation and helping them navigate a lot of those fields. So she's working not only for us, this is through our ESI department, so supporting students in Schoolcraft in Vicksburg as well. So we have fabulous, Al Littell was in that position. He was so fabulous that Kay Risa is stealing him from us right now. But we have a great person in Heather to be able to back that up as well, which of course then creates that principal opening at Angling Road that we will be moving forward on as well. So very excited about this. I'll also point out, I did make a note on this, one of our candidates was coming in to meet with Amy and my staff last week, and he called because he was running about 10 minutes late. He lives in Grand Rapids right now and ran into traffic, and Amy and my staff's like, well, it's not a problem at all. And he's like, well, but I want to let you know because your time's valuable too. So these are the kind of good individuals that we are bringing into this district. So certainly very excited about this group of teachers.
Any questions for Brad? Okay, hearing none, there's a motion, please, on page 32. Who wants to tackle that one?
Mr. President? I would be more than honored. I move that the Board of Education approve the appointment of the following teachers for Portage Public Schools. Michael Allen, Social Studies at West Middle School. Kelly DeLorde, Title I Interventionist at Haverhill Elementary. Melissa Haubert, Choir at Central High School. Rebecca Harith, School Psychologist. Alyssa James, Reading Specialist at Woodland Elementary. Hunter James, 3rd grade at 12th Street Elementary. Cole Jansen, 2nd grade at 12th Street Elementary. Jennifer Jawahir, ESL teacher. Tiffany Cohorst, Physical Education. Catherine Lane, 1st grade at Amberley Elementary. Kayla Lawson, 2nd grade at Amberley Elementary. Cameron Massa, 4th grade at Amberley Elementary. Anna Mayat, School Psychologist. Ryan Morris, Science at North Middle School. Heather Morris, 5th grade at Lake Center Elementary. Chloe Outman, 3rd grade at Haverhill Elementary. Elvis Plaza Perez, 5th grade at Amberley Elementary. Joanna Stein Hauser, orchestra teacher. Camilla Stewart, elementary ESI coordinator. Janelle Terashinsky, speech and language pathologist. Hannah Thompson Perez, 1st grade at Amberley Elementary. Megan Watkins, 2nd grade at Central Elementary. Riley Kristen, ESI at North Middle School. Annabelle Vitti, 2nd grade at Angling Road Elementary. Ian Fields, English at Central Middle School. William Mufara, band at Northern High. And Heather Yankovic, transition coordinator.
Perfect, Bo, thank you. Is there a second?
Second. Well done, Bill.
Thank you. All those in favor of the new teacher appointments, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes and the new teacher appointments are approved. Thank you. Our next action item is to approve administrator contracts. Is that right? Yeah. Approve administrator contracts on page 36. Is there a motion, please?
President Van Antwerp, I move that the Board of Education authorize the superintendent to issue administrator contract extensions as presented, not to extend beyond June 30th, 2026, and with additional compensation in the aggregate as approved by the board as part of the initial 2024-25 budget.
Thank you, Terry. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Brad?
Again, this is pretty self-explanatory, but again, asking for extensions for administrators, also is there on the first page. Second page does show you that we did not include the 5, including the 3 you just approved, and 2 that were previously approved, Mr. Schaefer and Dr. Miller. I will point out that we are, with our administrator group, we are meeting both what we have in the preliminary budget, and it does also match the PEA settlement, which is on the agenda next for the steps plus 2% increase. So it's the same amount that they are receiving at this point.
Thanks, Brad. Any questions for Brad? All those in favor of approving the administrator contract extensions, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. The contract extensions are approved. Our next item is to approve the agreement with the Portage Education Association. There's a motion on page 39.
President Van Antwerp, I move that the Board of Education approve the 2024 to 2027 contractual agreement with the Portage Education Association.
Thank you, Terry. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Unanimous.
Indeed. Brad?
I covered this in detail in our closed session last week. I can report, Kat Frank, the president of the PEA, did report to us today. It did pass overwhelmingly with their membership. So we would now ask the board to approve, and we will have a ratified contract, which will then make ratified contracts with all 4 of our bargain groups.
Fantastic. And this is a 3-year agreement. It's a wonderful thing.
It is.
It is. All right, it's mid-July, and this is done, and I just want to say thank you to the parties that sat on both sides of that bargaining table. And when contracts are done on a timeline like this, it usually means both sides take each other very seriously and listen to each other. And really appreciate it.
I'd just add, we didn't know exactly what to expect given the all of the subjects that were now to be bargained. We first talked about this earlier in the year, and I'm really happy how both sides came together and really hammered things out and worked the language out. So kudos to the 2 teams, as you said.
I heard about cooperation on both sides, and I appreciated that, knowing that this is settled, and that it's settled in a way that all seem happy with.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the agreement with the Portage Education Association, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes, and the agreement with the association is approved. Our last action item is our next action item is number 5, and that's to change our meeting schedule. There's a motion on page 39. No.
41.
41. I don't have it. Page 41.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the revised 2024-25 Board of Education meeting schedule as presented.
Thank you, Ian. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Is there anything to say? We have conflicts, so instead of 2 meetings, we're having 1 meeting. On the 14th, it's going to be a lengthy meeting because retreat precedes it. But it was the only way to make sure everybody who needed to be there could be there. We could get our business accomplished. So, any other comments? All those in favor of approving the revised meeting schedule, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing nothing, the motion is approved. New meeting schedule is approved. And we'll now move to approve the phone system. Action item number 6.
Good evening, Mr. Beeland. Good evening, trustees. In February 22, Portage Public Schools adopted a new phone system. We transitioned from an on-site system to a cloud-based system hosted in a data center out in Southfield, Michigan. Unfortunately, the service that's associated with it has not met our expectations. So we're once again asking for approval to switch away from the cloud-based system to an on-premise system housed in our data center over in the administration building. To that end, we're looking to purchase the 3CX on-site phone system from Gibson Teldata, to an amount not to exceed $121,314. That includes the first year of software support as well as the migration and setup services from Gibson themselves. Year 2, the annual cost, beginning with the annual cost of the phone system will be $11,554, and it'll be at that rate until 3CX increases the rates. We have a 4-year guarantee that the rate will be at that level. In addition, we're asking for approval to transition our actual voice services, so the service that the 3CX system will use to connect to the public telephone system, to a company called FlowRoute. That service will be brokered through Gibson, and our monthly phone bill should be around $2,000 a month once that service is in place. If you have any questions, I'm sure you do.
I'll just say this is a decision we've been, I wouldn't say wrestling with necessarily, but it's been a very complicated decision, and one that we feel is the best solution to what our needs are, to get us the kind of service that we need, and make sure that all our phones are connected to the 911 system as they should be as well.
That's been the biggest challenge. We've had a lot of issues with 911 calls completing, so.
Right. Were we able to just walk away from this contract that hasn't worked?
We are currently talking with Telnet. Unfortunately, we've had to get legal involved, so a lot of this decision, whether we move forward with this or not, is contingent upon a amicable agreement with Telnet and Telnet to terminate that contract.
Yeah.
There's a motion on page 43 to help this process along, please.
President Van Antwerp will make the motion that the Board of Education authorize as presented the purchase of the 3CX on-premise phone communication system and one-time system migration services from Gibson Teldata of Indianapolis, Indiana, in an amount not to exceed $121,314, and the annual support service renewal fees of $11,554, funding to be drawn from the general fund. Furthermore, the Board of Education authorizes the subscription of the SIP trunking service from FlowRoute for the purposes of connecting the 3CX phone system to the public telephone network for an estimated monthly charge of $2,000 to be paid from the general fund.
Thank you, Keith. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the phone system, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. The new phone system is approved. Thank you, Jane, for taking us through that. We've concluded our action items. Our next item is to go into closed session to consider the purchase or lease of real property. There's a motion on page 46, please.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education move into closed session to consider the purchase or lease of real property as allowed under the Opens Meeting Act 15.268, Section 8, 1D.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. This is a roll call vote, please, Barb.
Mr. Kroll?
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford?
Yes.
Mrs. Navaria?
Yes.
Mr. Van Antwerp?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton?
Yes.
Ms. Larson?
Yes.
Very good. The motion is approved, and we'll be going into closed session, and we will not be coming back into open session to take any action. Thank you.
I don't think he even heard it. I'm sorry I didn't say anything at the beginning, but.
Leave it, right?